Hi everyone, I'm G and welcome to the first episode of Wheel Talk. So today we are joined by certified legend and thank you so much for coming in. So I brought the Disability Advisory Group and a few other things like SWIG, so Social Welfare Inclusion Group, and that's how we met. And I wanted to start this podcast to create a platform for individuals plus Portsmouth in the disability community to have a voice and share their views. However, this is only the pilot episode, so let us know what you think of this and if this podcast is good and if it can continue. So today we are here to talk about direct payments, what our experiences are and what it looks like going forward. So, do you want to tell us a bit more about yourself and your background?
Hi. Thank you for having me. My name is Anne Blackburn. I was born with cerebral palsy along with a severe speech impediment. I have been a wheelchair user all my life, but let me tell you, it's the speech impediment that I really find most irritating and frustrating as I have so much to say. Anyway, I have been working in disability awareness and self-determination, both in a training and development capacity since 2000 in Oregon, USA. I became involved with the Service User Group at Portsmouth University in 2010, where we help educate students going into social work and other healthcare professions. When I'm not working, I enjoy spending time with my husband and friends, watching TV, listening to live music and live theatre, being outdoors on a warm sunny day with my cameras or just listening to a good audiobook. I am always looking for new ideas and opportunities to make films and educate through my YouTube channel.
That's so good. Thank you so much. So yeah, a bit more about myself. I'm G. I'm 28 years old. I was born with a genetic bone condition called osteogenesis imperfecta. So when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I had a lot of surgery on the back of my neck, which led to me being in a wheelchair because my spine just gave out and that's not the function. So that's a really oversimplified version of the story, but people don't have 10 years to listen to the whole book series of events that is my life. So now I'm just trying to live my life and be as independent as possible through having carers, and I'm also joining up on a lot of disability advocacy groups such as the Disability Advisory Group and the Social Worker Inclusion Group, which is how we met. And it's just been so fulfilling and so brilliant. So for today's podcast, we basically want to talk about experiences with direct payments. So, Anne, can you tell us a bit more about your experiences with care and direct payments?
Since I moved to Hampshire in 2008, I actually started using direct payments part-time when it first started in the late 90s. I had a care company appointed by the local authority. When this new thing called direct payments were introduced, I went along to a forum. It sounded like something that could give me more control. In the very early days, in the 90s, I only hired one person alongside the care company I was assigned. Back then, I remember I had a direct payment worker to help me at every step, because the process was new for everyone. I went to Oregon for 8 years. When I returned to UK in 2008, I moved to Eastleigh in Hampshire and eventually got on services. There is a 3-month residency requirement. I was given direct payments with no guidance whatsoever. Hampshire deal with direct payments slightly different than Portsmouth. Hampshire deposits funds into a regular bank account dedicated to direct payments with some, but not much, monitoring. Portsmouth deposits funds on a prepaid card or, like we do, a managed account held and managed by the payroll company, in our case David Howard, who handles all the taxes and paying our employees for us. I decided to put myself and my husband on managed accounts because everything involved with hiring PA sounded so overwhelming, especially with the taxes, and having managed account meant I had one less thing I was responsible for. When we finally started making the gradual switch from a care company to hiring PAs in 2021, we were talking about it for at least 2 years before we were forced to make the plunge. We were fed up with the incompetency of our care company and the fact they were constantly sending agency cover, so we never knew who was coming. So early in 2021 we decided to take back control and hired a PA, somebody I already knew, to provide some of our support needs in conjunction with the care company. However, that some of the care company informed us it would be better if we found alternative support. That is when the real saga began for search for a new care company. Social services told us because we received direct payments, we had to contact care companies ourselves. We started calling every care company in Portsmouth without success. None of them could help. We kept getting the same response. Either we don't have enough staff or we don't cover your area. We also found out that most companies charge more than the £17.75 that Portsmouth CC pays for care companies, and it would be up to us to make up the difference. We found a few companies who will work with PCC and charge their rate, but none of them had capacity. We came close a couple times only to have them to pull out. It was very frustrating. So, we decided to try and only hire PAs for everything. This terrified me, mainly because all the responsibility would be on us. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. How many people should we hire, and what about emergency backup? It took me ages to find the right balance between having enough employees to cover everything while making sure all our employees has enough hours a week. All the little details of being an employer is so overwhelming. There was next to no support or guidance from PCC. Over the 3 years that we have been doing this, I have learned a lot and still learning. I've felt frustrated because I often wanted to connect with other PA users to learn from. For example, until recently I didn't understand about self-employed PAs. I have been saying since we started this journey, we need a network where everybody can learn from each other, and I think it's finally going to happen with the new PCPA Facebook group that we are setting up in Portsmouth.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been having that idea of PCPA and Portsmouth Carers and Personal Assistants for ages, and it feels so good to put it into action, because I'm kind of in a similar boat, but I've been doing it a lot less of time than you have. So I've only been a DP user for nearly 8 years or so, and I've been a PA employer for 5 years this November, and it's so rewarding and brilliant to have that independence of choice, and each carer, each person that I've worked with have brought in their own qualities and experiences into my life that has individually played a part for every little part of my life, and without them I wouldn't have been able to go out and do an internship that I did and things like that. But there are a lot of areas for improvement. So yeah, and I'm a bit like you sometimes. Just hearing that, I really get overwhelmed with the amount of admin that needs to happen. Recruiting new PAs, but finding new PAs. It is really hard. So yeah, I want to see that vision of a network coming together and being all across Portsmouth and people really connecting and having a chance to build great teams. So do you use agencies or PAs, or how else do you use direct payments?
Personally, I only use direct payments for my day-to-day support and housework, meal prep. My husband also uses his direct payments to have someone help him at the gym. Other than that, we are pretty independent, and we prefer it that way. However, we can call them if we need help outside our agreed times.
I've absolutely loved meeting you over the last few years and just how insanely independent you are. It is epic. So, what are the good points of the direct payment scheme?
That's easy. Direct payments give my husband and myself a little more control over our support. My husband and I need to live our lives. Control over who provides our day-to-day support. Without direct payments we would have a care company that the council contracts.
Yeah, that's like me as well. It's having control over who comes in. I mean, I have a hybrid of agency and PAs. And that works for me, but yeah, definitely giving me the flexibility to go out and find my own care. It has been brilliant, yeah. So on the flip side then, what's the most difficult and frustrating points of having direct payments?
One thing I particularly find frustrating is, as far as I can gather, in this area it's either all or nothing. By that you can either use direct payments to purchase a care company to provide services where a person is told when you can get their support on a rota system, or the other option is hiring PAs. You get more control, however you are responsible for everything like advertising, hiring, filling out contracts, payroll, etc. I hate all the admin. It's so time consuming. I also have trouble knowing where to find people to hire. Despite all the frustrations, I much prefer hiring PAs to having a care company.
But yeah, I'm very much in the same position. I feel like the admin part of being a PA employer takes up a lot of my time. And I just want to go out there and do my own things that I've been wanting to do more on, like dog training, because I'm a little bit obsessed with dogs. And I want to do more on filmmaking and things like that. But I do prefer working in PAs to agencies. But like I said, I like having a hybrid, and that works for me at the moment. So, and then what do you think that could be improved upon for direct payments in Portsmouth?
I feel a community where both service users and service providers is badly needed, somewhere everybody can come together as partners and learn from and support each other. I know if I could have spoken to other direct payment and PA users when we first started employing PAs, it would have helped me so much not to feel so overwhelmed. That's why I'm so excited about the PCPA Facebook network. I'd like to see more options for people to receive support. In my perfect world would be a system similar to Extra Care but for all ages, whereby the service user can have the control and flexibility over their daily support without the headache of all the admin. I do have one example of this. When we lived in Portland, Oregon, we lived in Quad, an organization that runs accessible apartment buildings that offers optional 24/7 on-site shared attendant care. The attendant care was self-directed. That meant the responsibility is totally up to the residents. We had to sign up for the assistance we needed by signing up on a list daily. It worked on a first-come first-served basis. This meant if anyone was late signing up or forgot, it's hard luck and they had to take what's left. They were unlikely to forget in the future. The thing I especially liked about this system was, it was our responsibility to sign up. We could arrange our support around our lives and not our lives around our support needs. For example, if something suddenly came up like going out at the last minute or I felt like going to bed early, I could change my booked time slot to another open time slot. Since there was always someone awake and on shift, I didn't have to worry about what time I got in. Like the time I got a call telling me a close friend was in the hospital and come immediately. I didn't know what time I'd be home, but living at Quad I didn't worry about how I would get into bed. I just went. That sense of total freedom and flexibility that most people take for granted to go out for the evening we just don't have under the current social care structure in the UK. One thing I have noticed, compared to our current care setup, of assistants coming in at set times, is because of the fact I could get help in short periods throughout the day whenever I needed and was convenient for me. I felt I had more time to live my life. I desperately miss this feeling of total control I felt when I lived at Quad. I now appreciate living in Quad even more because of the fact that all the day-to-day admin and management of hiring, firing, and scheduling of staff was done for us by the on-site manager, allowing us to get on with our lives. Yes, we have found a few places in Portsmouth that have care on site. However, when I seriously looked into them, I found they don't offer the same degree of flexibility, independence and freedom as Quad. Whereas the Portland's style Quad may not work in Portsmouth, my friend has a similar idea that he calls Uber Care. Basically, there would be an app where people can book support whenever they need it. The employees would have shifts, but instead of working off a set rota, they would wait for a call. Like paramedics or the fire service. Both Quad and Uber Care has a common concept: flexible support on demand when the service user wants it. Direct payments is designed to give people choice, but I feel there is so much more that could be done so people can have real choice and control over their day-to-day needs and ultimately their lives.
So that sounds amazing, and I kind of want to just go back in time and join you on Quad now because that's how that. So thank you so much for joining me today for this first episode of Wheel Talk. Thank you for watching. It was great to be here today. Feel free to like and subscribe and comment down below, either on Facebook or YouTube. I've also got down in the description box below some links to the PCPA page, so Portsmouth Carers and Pastoral Assistants, and the Disability Advisory Group page. So, well then, enjoy the rest of your day and see you next time. Bye.